How's everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. Hello friends. It's great to have you all here today. Beautiful weather in South America where we are going to depart. And I hope this is going to be a lovely flight. As you have seen in the stream announcement, I am going to fly the MD-82 from Leonardo Software House. And been a while since I flew this aircraft, so hopefully it will run smoothly. I see Koshik there parked at close to us with the A320. Alexis, hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing fine. What about yourself? Yeah, we will start shortly. I'm just waiting for people to join, and we will jump and take a look at this aircraft and start her up and load our flight plan and hopefully be on our way. Our planned departure is 18:30 Zulu, so in about half an hour, 28 minutes to be exact, so we should get things going very shortly. Oh, Harriet says I'm at my home planning an upcoming trip. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the trip. I don't know where you are planning to go. Yeah, I mean, last week was a little bit challenging for myself due to a family emergency, but I was able to get in front of the computer and be able to stream, so that is great. Alright, I'm gonna slowly jump into the cockpit of this beautiful aircraft. A little bit closer look, and if you have any questions, just ask. If I know the answer, I'll try to get that to you. All in all, yes, this aircraft received some criticism from the community due to being ported from P3D in terms of textures and 3D model. The systems are redesigned and recoded according to Microsoft Flight Simulator's coding coding requirements. So it's not ported completely, but it can use some improvements on the visual department, and it will be a good movement by the developer if they update some parts of the 3D model and then the textures overall. So this is the exterior. I'll just go around just slowly to show you guys a little bit of the 3D model. I think the 3D model looks decent from outside. There are some places in the cockpit where I feel like can use some improvements. Here it says I'm going to Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. Great. Have a nice trip. Yeah, I mean, what I was saying, the exterior model is decent. It's not too shabby. If you get too closer, you'll see some texture degrading and stuff like that, but overall, I think this is an acceptable 3D model. Not saying it cannot use some improvements, but it looks better than the interior. So that's outside. And the other thing, because this is a high fidelity aircraft, you see the flaps drooping because of no hydraulic power, and they will pull themselves up when the hydraulic is engaged. Interior, I am using a texture modification I found under flightsim.to, so that's why they look a little bit better, because I believe these are 8K or 16K textures modded by a developer under flightsim.to. That's why it looks a little bit better than the original, but it still can use some updates here and there. But all in all, I think it's okay. The buttons, if I get closer, you'll see the metal textures are baked in, so they don't reflect the light and they don't change the reflections doesn't change as you move in the cockpit or as the light changes, so it's baked in textures. That's one of the things I'm not quite happy about, but all in all, it flies nice. So you can open the windows if you want to. You can get another tablet by clicking here on the Copilot side, and you can put a Copilot in the cockpit. Even if she doesn't do anything, she will probably stay there. And looks like she has a problem with her upper arm. It looks a little bit, I don't know, off, I believe. But yeah, so let's get things going, shall we? Let's close our window. We will need the tablet, and keep the Copilot window open. If I forget to close it, let me know, guys. I don't wanna take off with an open window. So the tablet, you all turn it on by pressing and holding the home button. And it has some options. It gives you weight and balance. That's the first thing we are going to do. We will import our OFP using a simulated ACAR system. And this is like the PMDG737. It doesn't have a direct connection to SimBrief, but you have to, if you download your flight plan in a certain format, then you will be able to import it. What you need to do is click that and then put your departure in there, which is Sierra Bravo Romeo Foxtrot, and put your destination, Sierra Bravo Sierra Victor, and confirm, and it will load your flight number. You can tell that's by looking to the flight number. That's our flight number today, Avianca 49er56, and it brings your load information. However, you see a red text here saying check entries. Due to something in the SimBrief profile, it doesn't load correctly. So my OFP in SimBrief shows that our zero fuel weight should be 53.3, and it is 3.4 more. So we have to do some work here to adjust it. First thing I'm gonna do is reduce the passenger count from 79 to 70 for both Area A and Area B. It should give us some weight control there. Hey Koshik, how are you? Welcome to the stream. It's nice to see you again. So we are down to 53.6. That means we need to reduce this by 1.3 tons. So what I will do is I will take 500 from the, oh, not 500, 700 and 600. So 700 from aft, and then 600 from the forward cargo, which will get us down to 1534. And this should be 1434. And that should get us down to 53.3. We have a little bit of, we are at like 53.4. So let's take it to 1500 and 1400. So you have to make some adjustments. I wasn't able to find a working SimBrief flight plan. So not flight plan, I'm sorry, profile for this aircraft. Whatever I did, it's not loading the correct numbers, but we will just try to do this and stick to these weights and balances for today. So that's our weights and balances figured out. Aircraft services, our doors are currently open. We'll go and connect the GPU. One thing I'm not liking here is when you connect the GPU, there is no physical GPU connection outside. You see GPU is here, but it's not connected to the aircraft, and you cannot ask ATC to do that because you're not powered on. So that's one of the things maybe the developer can improve on. And if you look inside, we have an invisible GPU connected to the aircraft. Anyway, I think that's enough talking. That's the main main battery switch. You turn it on by one click and then lock it in place with a second click. It turns 90 degrees, and then some aircraft systems will come to life. Not all of them, but while we are here, we can arm the emergency exit lights. We can put the windshield anti-ice or anti-fog to on. Anti-ice will heat the front windows, these three. anti-fog will heat all the windows, including the eyebrows. So both to on, because it takes time for these to warm up. Although they don't work with DC power, we need to have the GPU on for them to work, which we will do momentarily. So if we go over here, we check the external power. Yes, it's there, and we can now tie the buses.
Autopilot.
And we can put our nav lights to on. And that will power the aircraft pretty much and get it ready for our flight planning. It's gonna go through a built-in self-test. You will see some lights flashing and whatnot, but at the end it will come to life. Next up, maybe I should do this. We'll check the overhead and do some tests while we are here. Overhead has two sections. I believe there is upper overhead, which is this section here where you have your extinguisher and fire loops, and it's just clicking these buttons to make sure your fire detection system is working. And there is a test here that you can do, cargo fire test, and all checks. We can get some panel lights while we are here. And the lower overhead, you have the stall test. By the way, I haven't done a sound check, so how is the sound on your end, guys? Is the sim audio too loud, or is it just enough? That's max speed warning test.
Overspeed.
That's ice detection test, which will display over here in our sort of ecam. And wrong button. And that's it. And then we can test the lights in the cockpit. And those are the tests that we can do at the overhead. Right now the cabin temperature is close to 30 degrees. We will probably need the APU running before we start boarding, but first we need to refuel our aircraft. And also while we are here, let's do this and put our pressurization system. Landing altitude is 60 feet. We can set that right now, and we'll take a look at the QNH when we pull in the radar weather information. We can also set our flight recorder. Today is June 6th. Oh, June 12th, I'm sorry, not 6th. 0612. Flight number is 49er56. I'm not sure if this has any effect, and this is the first leg. We will insert this, and that will put the flight recorder operational when we are ready to take off, or when our wheels are off the ground. Couple more tests we can do here. Yep, and there are more tests over here that you can run if you want to, like the oxygen test and all that, but we are not going. Yep, there you go, that flow is working, so we are not gonna bother with a lot of tests today. It is just to show what's working, what's not working in this aircraft. We'll get some lights. We'll get some lights to the pedestal too. And we'll check our throttles are idle, speed brakes stowed, flaps are retracted, ignition selectors are guarded. Ignition system selector is in the off position. Wipers are off. And we'll put the seat belts to on when we start the boarding. That's for now, that's what we do. And then we can start refueling the aircraft by clicking here. Again, no fuel truck connection, it's just invisible and fuels the aircraft. When the fueling is done, we will start the boarding by clicking here. In the meantime, we can go down to the FMS or FMC and start programming our flight. Position initialization, we are at Sierra Bravo Romeo Foxtrot. I'm parked at gate 13 or ramp 13, and we'll grab the GNS position and put it into here. That should align our IRS system. There is no IRS switches you need to turn on or whatnot. And for our destination to import our flight plan, we downloaded from SimBrief. We just enter it as a company route, Sierra Bravo Romeo Foxtrot to Sierra Bravo Sierra Victor, and it should get our flight plan from the one that we downloaded. We will be departing from runway 18, so let's put it in there. That's now done, and we'll take a look. That's not direct, we have to select our departure. That doesn't load, so our departure from runway 18 is via the... Is it selected? Yes, it is selected. Our departure is SAPMA 2 Alpha. SAPMA 2 Alpha. And MCE transition. And when we go to the route page, it should now show the correct routing, and we will select our arrival too. We are expecting a direct in arrival with no star. I'm just checking the routing on the flight plan. Yep, we are doing ILS Yankee to runway 10. And that is it. We don't have a star, but we will be transitioning from Sierra Victor Delta 18 to approach. Again, route, we'll activate this. We will not execute yet. We are going to remove the yoke or control column and go to the plan mode, which we are at now, and we can step through the legs to make sure there are no weird issues in our flight plan routing, such as discontinuities. So let's step through this, and there is a discontinuity right there. We can fix this by selecting and pasting over the discontinuity. That should now fix that, and then we can step forward, and that's our arrival. Looks a little bit different, but that's a DME arc if I remember correctly. But this looks okay, so we can execute the route and go back to plan mode, or from plan mode to map mode. Harriet says, my backyard is so huge that I have a homemade roller coaster that follows the terrain, and it has 4 lift hills. That's great, Harriet. That's great. Alright, so that's the routing done. We need to do our performance calculation. We know the numbers. We'll take our takeoff weight, 62,778. Go to the performance. Our departure airport is Sierra Bravo Romeo Foxtrot, runway 18. And we need the METAR information for the winds. It's coming from 130 at 7 knots. So we will put the wind information here. 7 knots, enter that. Outside air temperature is 29 degrees. Anti-ice will be off, PEX will be on. And what was that number? 62,776 or something? 62,778, I was close. 62,778, enter, and now we can calculate our performance. This gives us a flap setting of 6.5, flex temperature of 50 degrees, and V speeds are 143, 147, 156. Back to the FMC. Route page, performance initialization. Zero fuel weight is 53.3. Our block fuel is 9.82. And we can see if the fueling is done here. It's not done yet, but it's increasing as you see here. That should go to 9.282, and we are going to do a normal burn, so that's done. Our reserve fuel, including our alternate, is 4.81. We'll plug it in here. And our cruising altitude finally is flight level 320. Cruise wind, we will take the top of climb wind from our Simbri flight plan, that's 036 from 0366 at 8 knots. Nice weather, I would say, if the winds are that calm. And our top of climb temperature is minus 37 degrees Celsius. Minus 37. That should calculate the ISA deviation of 12 degrees. And we'll go and do the takeoff speeds. So takeoff speeds were 143, 147, 156. 43, 147, and 156. That's our performance calculation complete in the FMC, and you can go back to the index. What we can do here is we can set some fixes for runway 10 at our destination. We'll put a 90-mile fix. This is for our top of descent, because we need to descend down to 2500, I believe. That's almost 30,000 difference. Times it by 3, that gives us 90 miles. So that's our top of descent, should be roughly around 90 miles to the runway. We'll put a 25-mile ring for slowing down and getting ready for flaps, and we'll put a 10-mile ring, which will be our final. So that's our fixes done. And you can also play with the ACARS. I'm not gonna do it today. You can request some pre-flight init data information. It will fill it out for you. But we did this with the tablet, so we don't have to worry about this. And you can do the weights and balances as well. Alright, so can we request weather? I don't think we can. That's not possible in this aircraft. So we'll keep the legs page here for now. Let's see if our fueling is done. And looks like we are refueled now, which means we can start the boarding. Put the passenger signs to on. And because it's too hot, we can start the APU. To start the APU, we need to turn the start pump to on. We have an ACARS message, by the way, the message we requested. You see the passengers at the background. We'll put the APU master to on. We'll hold it at start until we see the RPM increasing, and then let the switch go. There we go. That should now start the APU. It's back here. It's a small jet engine that provides power to the aircraft systems. That port is the exhaust port of the APU, and it should come online, and the bus APU power available should light up when it happens. Okay. A little bit more, and we have APU power available, so we can put the APU on bus, and we can take the ground power unit off bus. APU needs to run at least for 3 minutes before you turn the bleed air on. That is simulated in this aircraft. While I'm here, I'm gonna get rid of the GPU. And the other thing we need to do is, these are pneumatic cross-feed valves, pretty much your bleed air valves. You need to turn them on to get bleed air to the air conditioning and all the other systems. These are the air conditioning system gauges. This is the duct pressure, so that requires bleed air, and we will turn the bleed air on momentarily when APU runs a little bit and warms up. That's what I'm waiting for. And we will turn the APU. So the weather at our destination QNH is showing 1014. We can set our pressurization system to 1014. That's roughly there, and that is our pressurization taken care of. We'll turn the bleed air on now, and we can supply some air to the packs. That will help with the temperature while the passengers are boarding. We don't need the start power anymore. We can turn it off.
If you are seated in an exit row, you may be required to assist the crew in an evacuation. If you are unwilling or have a condition which will hinder you
supply temperature is showing 25 degrees, so it should cool the cabin down very fast. Nice. Let's set our main control panel or flight control panel. Flight directors go on. Our runway heading is 184. We'll set it on the heading bug.
Regulations require compliance with all lighted signs, placards, and human instructions.
Our V2 is 156, so we will set it to the speed bug. 56. Oh, Mark, sorry to hear that. I hope you start feeling better soon. Hoping to see you again. Yeah, health, family, they are priority, man. We will enjoy flying together next time. Take care. It's nice to see you here, even if you drop by to send a message. But that's okay. I hope you get better soon. We have a VOR close by. That's 116.9er. We will tune that as a secondary option. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much. I wish you a fast recovery. We'll set our altitude to 32,000. We don't have any restrictions on our star, or SID rather, so we can climb directly to our cruise flight level. That is set. We can test our fire loops for engine start, because we will be doing that. Bell cutoff is working, fire detection system is working, that's good. And we can turn on our thrust modulation system or thrust control system, and we will put it to off. We are taking off with a flex temperature of 50 degrees. Based on our performance calculation, we will set 50 here. That is done, and we need to set the QNH for our departure, which is 1013. So that's the standard temperature, standard QNH we have. Clicking the speed in display, or clicking these little thingies will set your speed bugs after you make your calculations. And we need to set our gross weight, actually not gross weight, zero fuel weight, to tell the aircraft. So that's 53.315. That is this guy over here, zero fuel weight. We will have to adjust this and go up to 53.
If you are seated in an exit row, you may be required to assist the crew in an evacuation. If you are unwilling or have a condition which will hinder you from performing the functions described on the
3.215, so we will stay at 300. That's close enough. Alright, that is good. That gives us a gross weight of 63.05. Let's see. Or maybe that will change after we finish the boarding. Boarding is still ongoing. Temperature is looking good. It started dropping down. It's getting wrong here. Anyway. Oh, I'm sorry, Koshik. Your sim crashed. That's unfortunate. Sorry to hear that. We will still have some time to set the aircraft, Koshik, so it should give you enough time to restart your sim, I guess. Alright, boarding is almost complete. We have to uncage the standby artificial horizon that is now uncaged. Everything over here looks okay. Yeah, we are pretty much ready to push back very shortly. Checking the temperature, yep, that's good. We'll go through the warnings, they should clear up as we start the engines. What we can do here is, as I told you, the flaps are still drooped, as you see. So I'm gonna turn on the hydraulic power until we stop the engines. That's this guy and this guy, and if you go outside you will see the flaps going back to their original position after receiving some hydraulic power.
Federal regulations require that carry-on items are stored.
But we will keep the hydraulic power running until we start the engines. Boarding is almost... oh, boarding is done. So our doors should be closed by the cabin crew now, which they are. Which means we are ready to start our engines and push back out of here.
Take a moment to review the safety instruction file in your seatback pocket.
So we should be pushing back to tail to the right. And we will use Microsoft Flight Simulator's pushback. I request pushback at this point. I'm gonna do a final check to see if I have everything. The transponder code. We will use our standard 1071 for the streams. Everything else is looking okay. And yeah, we are ready to leave the gate. So let's request our pushback. Oh, there's no pushback tag here. Very nice. So we have to figure it out ourselves then. Let me look outside to see if we can turn around, or we can use Shift P. I think that's what I'm gonna do. We'll use Shift P. That's pushback starting. We'll disengage the parking brake, and that should push us straight back. And we can start our engines when we push back. I don't want to stress about starting the engines and controlling the pushback. All I need is just push back a little bit so that it gives me enough distance. There's something going on here. Do we have the chocks? No, we don't. Doors are closed, so I'm not sure. This is another thing with this aircraft. There is no way to control the chocks, and sometimes, as you see here, Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't recognize, or the aircraft doesn't recognize something. This is like super slow pushback at this point. Yep, not sure what's happening here. Okay, great, Koshik. We are still pushing back, so no worries there. It will take some time for me to get, but I will probably turn around. That's not a desired way to start taxiing, but as you see, the chocks are still there. So this is like super slow pushback. It happens if I do Shift T one more time. Doesn't change anything. So we will stop here, guys. And we will start our engines. So to start the engines, PAX needs to go off. We will need that bleed air. Start system, we will use system A. Open the guards and turn the fuel pumps on. We don't need any fuel heat. So we are good to go. And what we do is we will engage the starter first, go down and start monitoring our N2. When it reaches 20%, we will introduce fuel, and that should start the engine. So we are seeing some oil pressure increasing, oil temperature increasing. Those are good signs. We will see fuel flow down below here when we introduce fuel. Fuel is introduced and we started to see fuel flow. EGT is increasing, so ignition, and then M1 is increasing. So that's a good engine start. This aircraft is super silent in the cockpit because the engines are way back, so you don't hear them a lot when you are in the cockpit. But it should stabilize around 28-29% M1, and the EGT should sort itself out. There we go, that's a good start. We'll close the guard and continue with engine number 1 or left engine and do the same thing. Waiting for 20%. It's 20. Introduce fuel flow. Oil pressure is increasing, oil temperature is increasing, EGT and N1 rotation. So that's a good engine start too. We are going to wait for the engine to stabilize. And that should be it. So we have switched to the generator power. That flicking lights was that. Now that engine is also stable, we can close the guard and disengage and turn the system to off. Now we have engine power, we can turn the bleeds back to on. Or packs, not bleeds, packs are here. We'll keep them at auto. There we go. We don't need the APU air bleed, and we don't need the APU on the bus anymore. And we'll turn off the APU master. Okay, so P2 heat will come on shortly. We'll go down and put the auto brakes to RTO and arm them. And we need to set our flap setting. This is the trickiest part with this aircraft. Based on our calculation, we need 6.5 flaps. So that's roughly 6.5, and our CG for takeoff is 15.2. We will set that here. 15.2. That's 15. That should get us to 15.2. We will set our trim by moving the handle down and making these match roughly. That should do. And then we will set our flaps here as well. 6.5. Oops. That's 6.5 sets for the flaps. That's it. We have everything set. Engines are running. And all looks okay. We are ready to taxi, guys. Nose light to dim. That's our taxi lights. And then when we put to bright, that's our landing, or takeoff, or landing lights. Alright, so the cabin is ready, I guess. We can tell them. Yep. Alright. Okay, we are ready to go. Transponder goes to, let me get closer to show you guys. Altitude reporting off, and it goes to TA, RA at this point. Weather radar, will power it on and go to weather and traffic. And we'll disengage the parking brake. We could start going. Let's set our flaps to flaps 6.5, so the first notch, you see there the flap lever, I will bring it down, and the first notch, which is this 0, is the slats, and then it will activate the flaps. Alright, just a second. I'm checking my routing, taxi routing on the other screen. Alright, that should do. Alright, first notch, that's slats. Go one more, that's flaps, and that should be indicated down below here, 6.5 roughly. So that's done. We'll arm the speed brakes. Those are now armed. And that should be all for our takeoff. And the last thing is the P2 heat. And we are ready to go. Let's do a config check, holding the brakes and pushing the throttles to forward. No horn, that means our config is checked. And we can let go of the brakes and turn around, because that's what we need to do due to not being able to push back with a tug. That's a Microsoft Flight Sim limitation, I guess. We are going to turn around like that, and runway 18 is on that side. Probably need a little bit more power to be able to turn. And as you hear, the cockpit is super silent even if we have the window open. Let's close that window now, because I will probably forget if I don't. Okay, almost made the turn. We can't just go straight and take this taxiway out of the ramp to runway 18. Alright, slowly, surely we're getting there. And we'll join the taxiway following this line here. Luckily, this aircraft taxi is nice. Yeah, nice Harriet, Princess of Dreams. Thanks for letting us know about your roller coaster. Oh, look at that. Now, AI traffic. Microsoft, please fix AI traffic so that we don't run into awkward issues like this where an aircraft is just sitting in front of us. We have to pass through this guy, unfortunately. Coming back. At least I didn't see us passing through that aircraft. Do we still have the chocks? No, we don't. As you see now, they are gone. And we should get to the runway. We need to increase our ground speed a little bit and add some throttle to keep the aircraft rolling. This QNH has changed. It's 1012 now. Slow. 62.9 takeoff weight, 62.7, that's close, 77, you're fine. Alright, APU is now off, all the signs are fine. Airfoil anti-ice, we don't need any kind of anti-ice to take off. And we are good to go. Everything is ready for our takeoff. We'll add a little bit more power and accelerate just a little bit more to get there a little bit faster. We don't want to spend too much more time taxiing. That's better. Let's go to idle. Yes. Okay. This wasn't too bad, I guess. Taxi and hold short at the runway threshold and do our final preparations, and then we will just be on our way. As I said, super silent cockpit, super silent. Pretty sure you guys are hearing less audio from Microsoft Flight Simulator because it's so silent in the cockpit of this aircraft. I'm not sure this is true to life, or is it like a little bit more than what it needs to be. I would like to at least hear part of the engines. Slow down a little bit, we are coming to the hold short point. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go over on the co-pilot side and turn the auxiliary hydraulics off. We don't need them anymore. The hydraulic pumps are running with engine power now. Should have no problems. Oh, almost there. Lining up is a little bit tricky because this aircraft is so long. have to start turning a little bit early, otherwise you will shoot the turn if you are not careful. And I think you need to slow down to somewhere between 10 to 15 knots before making the turn, otherwise it's too hard to line up properly. Alright, we are coming up to the hold short point. We'll assume that we have landing takeoff clearance. We will turn our takeoff lights or landing lights and nose lights, and then our strobes. They are now on, and we will follow this yellow line to line up with the runway. Keep turning. Keep turning. On turns, this aircraft requires a bit of power to keep going. Up that is the runway, and we are properly lined up. So after adjustment, we should be fine. Good go. Okay. So, final check. Trim is set, flaps are set, speed brakes armed, auto brakes RTO, transponder goes transponder TARA, landing lights are on, strobes are on, anti-collision is on, autopilot set, engine stable, and we are ready to roll. So what we will do is we will hold the brakes, increase the thrust to 50% M1. We are waiting for the EPR to go above 1.4. We will arm the... Oh, hold on. One thing I forgot. Before doing that, we need to do this. We need to press the takeoff or toga button. And then now we are ready to do that same thing. Sorry. We'll go to 50%. And when we are passing 1.4 EPR, we will engage the auto throttle. That should give us the
takeoff thrust set.
Yep, takeoff thrust set.
Clear. $80 knots, cross check.
80 knots checked. 80 knots checked. Hopefully, we will be at the takeoff speed or rotate speed before the end of the runway. This is sort of a shorter runway. Not going to be fine. And up to V1. Speed 1.
V1.
That's it.
Rotate.
We are going to pitch up like 15 degrees.
Positive rate.
As the rate gear is coming up, follow the flight director.
Gear up, lights out.
Turn the light. Well, we'll keep the landing lights on, but most light we don't need it anymore. We'll select nav and renav, and we are waiting to pass the thrust reduction altitude. We will increase the speed. That's not the speed.
Traffic. Traffic.
Okay, we have some traffic in front of us. I accidentally changed the course, but that's not gonna be a huge deal. We were not using radio navigation. Alright. We are climbing slowly and picking up some speed and following the flight director as such. And on our way. So hand flying this aircraft is really fun. It is very stable and behaves nicely. So we will pitch down a little bit, adjust the trim. When we are passing our thrust reduction altitude, we can now turn autopilot on, and the aircraft will take care of the rest. By the way, we are coming up to clean flap speed, so flaps are coming in.
Flap 0.
Flap 0.
Slats retracted.
That's retracted. And we are picking up speed and on our way to our destination. Let's increase the range to 80 miles and keep this everything up. Very nice. Alright, we will synchronize our heading as the aircraft turns. You see weather fail before displayed there because we don't have the weather radar working yet. Hopefully it will come after some update time. But all in all, again, the sounds are okay, but not great. So probably benefit from some improvements in the sound department too. But all in all, flights needs that much more torque. Pushing this behind us, that's 5,200. And we are making that turn. Okay. Just get this to correct mode. There we go. We will synchronize our heading. The flight plan routing, and the aircraft will take care of the rest. We can close and go back to auto on the ART. We'll put this to climb now. It should set climb thrust. We don't need the auto brakes. We are good. We can turn it off. And that is pretty much it. We can disarm the spoilers, and that is after takeoff checks done. We are just waiting for aircraft to take us to our destination now, and we can do whatever we please. Again, beautiful weather in South America today, and this should give us some great visuals. This is the coming up to 6,000, and landing lights in this aircraft, I don't know, you probably have to retract them before passing 250 knots. That is, they are empty tips and they extend and retract, so you don't want to keep them extended at higher speeds, otherwise they might get damaged. Coming up to 7,000 now. What I didn't do is I probably didn't close the cockpit door. We will do that now. We should have done this before pushing back. Right, so we will keep the legs page here, or maybe we will keep the progress page here, legs page on the co-pilot side, and that will give us our distance to top of climb and everything else that we need. Alright, we are climbing nicely, coming up to 9,000 now. Just waiting for 10,000 to retract the landing lights and relieve the passengers and turn off the seatbelt signs or put them to auto. 9,000. She is not the fastest climber, I'm telling you. I touched the trim wheel, which disconnected the autopilot, so that's what happened. Alright, almost at 10,000. Aircraft will now pitch down to increase the speed to 320 knots, and we can retract the landing gear and put the signs to auto. chime the cabin. There we go. Oh, now we are accelerating to 300 knots, and then from there the aircraft will start climbing again. We forgot to turn the timer on. Let's keep it on for now. And we probably will not need this VOR going forward. We can take a look and see if there are any other stations that we can tune on our route. We're nicely following our flight plan. There is Zumbi VOR 115.10. That should be on the same course of 299er. Picking it up too. Very nice. And the next one is, let me see if there's another VOR. We can put the destination VOR on MAV2 116.50. That's set. The inbound course, and we are flying a DME arc, so that will become handy. Inbound course to there is going to be, not sure, doesn't display anything, so we will keep it like that for now, and just to have it. But I'm assuming that's close to 260-ish. I don't have the exact course. I need a different program than SimToolKit Pro like Little Man Map to tell me the exact course, but we will just guesstimate that for now. Alright. Guys, I will leave you guys for a second. Go get a cup of coffee and be back. Let me reduce the audio of the sim a little bit, and see you in a little bit. Alright friends, I'm back. Koshik says I can see everyone but not you at all. So I'm not sure, Koshik. I am not seeing you either. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But we are at 20,000 feet. And we have a master caution. That's the center tanks. We don't have any fuel left. As you see, it's 25 kilograms. We'll clear that up and turn the center fuel pumps off. That should clean up that warning. Alright, so the rest is just enjoying the flight and relaxing and getting to our destination. Yeah, I'm just going to stay in the cockpit and monitor the systems. Oh, see up. You are in front. Not seeing you. I'm not sure, Koshik. This might be again the server lag that we experienced in the streams. I will eventually see you somewhere on my screen. Oh, you are above me. Well, still not seeing anything, Koshik. Okay, if you are seeing me, that's great. I'll probably see you sometime later. You are at flight level 280. Let's reach up to cruise and I'll probably see you there. You have a faster aircraft than I do. We are climbing though. No need to worry. When we are cruising, we are going to set up our arrival and calculate our performance a little bit early. And as I said, we have a 90-mile ring that should give us the top of descent, which this aircraft will take care of it because it has a very nice working VNAV. And we will calculate our landing weight too. And wait for arrival. That is the plan. The sound you are hearing right now is the trim. Everything is as expected. Our co-pilot is sitting there doing nothing, which is also expected. Radio panel. We are not using radios anyway, so that's fine. Alright, steady 1500 feet per minute climb. And that is fine. We'll just go to cruise when we are at the cruise level. And then the rest is just getting to descent. And that's it. It's looking normal. As I said, aside from the visual and sound not being quite as expected, this aircraft has very nice working systems. It flies very nicely, especially the VNAV is like spot on. Just looking the... Okay, by the way, to capture the altitude, as you see it's not showing here, you need to pull the switch off, then it will capture 32,000. If you don't, you will past climb your cruising altitude. Now it should, as you see here, 320, it should capture 320 and level off. And we will set the EPR to cruise when we reach the cruise. And change our TCAS to about below normal. So we will just monitor what's below us when we are at cruise. Alright, that's what we are waiting. Just a little bit more to go until we reach our cruise. We can synchronize our heading one more time with our current heading. That should be it for the rest of the routing. We are just waiting to get to our destination. This shouldn't take too long. When we reach cruise, we should travel a little bit faster. And not sure, but we will be probably at our destination in about 40-45 minutes. Cruise speed, I can tell you, Koshik is set to max 0.75. It's showing cruising at 320. Optimum is 344, but we will stick to 320. This page here still just at our top of climb. Passing 30,000 feet, aircraft should switch to max speed units, Mach units. Should. There we go. Now we are using Mach units instead. That will take the VNAV off, so we will just go back to VNAV and let the aircraft manage the speed. As we are reading Mach 0.748, which is close. And I started seeing you, Koshik. You are right there in front of me. Maybe that was the distance between us, what caused me not seeing you. Yep, now you are. That's due to probably distance. Right, 1000 to go. That was the altitude call. And we will be at our cruise level. It's 400 feet. Speed is looking good. I am intentionally not bringing the yoke back up because it makes it a little bit hard to see the ND. So I'm gonna keep it off like this. And every time I do that, it goes back to plan mode. I don't know why, because I'm clicking here as well. So clicking the ND will switch modes. See, that happened again. A little bit annoying, if you ask me. Let's be out there. Finally, we reached our cruise, so we will select cruise for the TPR. That is pretty much it until we reach our top of descent. That's the trim. This annoying sound is the trim. Hopefully it will sort itself out. Yep, to top of descent we have 139 miles. And our expected fuel is 6.3. Currently we have 7.45, so that's 1.15 difference. Let's go and do our calculations. Index, go to the approach page. Gross weight is expected to be 6.78, which is our current. We need to take 1.15 down, so that's 59.65. So we'll go and round it up 59.7. That is our landing weight. Flaps, we'll do flaps 40. Yeah, descent, that's fine. Descent forecast, we can get the descent winds from our operational flight plan. Let's go and do that while we are doing this. We'll use flight level 200, 150 and 100. 200, 150, 100. At flight level 200 the winds are showing 353 at 7 knots. Flight level 150 showing 356 at 9 knots. Very calm weather today. And flight level 100 is showing 219er at 5 knots. 219er at 5 knots. That's the wind information done. And yeah, so that's the approach planning done. We don't have anywhere to enter the QNH or anything like that for our arrival. It's the ILS frequency and the final approach course is displayed here. We will tune this. But that is pretty much it. We don't have any weather information to plug in here. Yeah. Okay. You were 90 degrees above. Oh, okay. Well, you are now in front of me and I'm coming up to you slowly. This trim sound is a little bit annoying if you ask me. Other than that, that's fine. It's the other thing is our landing calculation here. So we are landing to Sierra Bravo, Sierra Victor, runway 10, dry conditions. Let's take a look at the weather information for the destination airport. QNH is 1013. Outside air temperature is 28. QNH is already there. We will do flaps 40. Dorsers, yes. Other legs are medium. And landing weight is 59.7. calculate. We are above the max landing rate. How is that possible? Let me take a look at things a little bit. 6.4, 7. Okay. It's like we need to burn a little bit more fuel before we get there. That's interesting. That might be the SBRF flight plan calculations being off. Do we have fuel jets and that we can dump some of that fuel off? That's what I'm checking here. See anything? We will take a look at that. So what is this? 15.8.9. The next stream, Koshik, we are planning to get to Rio, but we can see. We can take a look at that. 58.9. Right, we will base it off of that. That is still too much. Okay, now it's taking it. Landing distance 1700 meters. Actual landing 2000 meters. VRF 40 is 134, so that's our landing speed. And I have to check the runway length is 3000 meters, so we are fine with medium brakes. We will have to monitor our gross weight for landing. And we need to find a way to burn more fuel. Oh, look at pushing this landing formation almost. Oh, pushing, by the way, what's the airport code of Quinto Salvador? Attach the controls or rudders, which I shouldn't have done. It's a little bit closer than I'd like, I guess, in an airliner, but let's just do below. Disappeared. Nope. Where did you go? Well, that happened. We are coming up to our top of descent in about 80 miles, as you see right there. And if I take a look at our arrival chart, we need to get down to 1700 or 2500 for a 10.9 mile DME arc. I will check the distance, Koshik, and let you know before the stream ends. Let me see how long that flight is. I will let you know whether it's possible next week or not. That's quite a distance. Koshik, almost across the country. We won't be able to do that. We will go to Rio next time, and then we will probably follow the coast or come around. We haven't been to Argentina, Paraguay, or Chile, or Bolivia yet, and Peru. So there are a lot of more places to go in South America. We are not done with South America yet, so no worries there. We will be flying a 10.9 mile DME arc. Localizer frequency is 111.9er. Set that to mode 1. And 116.5 is the DME for the localizer. We will keep that there. It's Mach 0.75, not 6.5. I'm a little bit faster than that. Yeah. We probably have to go through the descent checklist and see what we need to do when we are getting there. Weather information we reviewed, landing data is confirmed. Speed box, we can click one more time and they will probably set. Yep. Okay. MSA is checked, that's 4000. Approach and landing briefing, yeah, we are going to do a DME arc, 10.9 mile DME arc. And then land, FMS is set. Altitude box, we will set that. Right, radio altimeters, that's something we can set while we are here. Trying to remember where was the radio altimeter in this aircraft. Here it is. I'm gonna check the chart to set that up. Precision height is for iOS, that's 200. This is not barometric, by the way, this is radio altitude. That's set. Glide slope fail, localizer fail. Yeah, I know, it's normal, we don't have that yet. We are not that close. See, the top of descent is almost in about 40 miles and we are going down to 2500. We will set that when we get a little bit more closer. Let me go through this, altimeters, TCAS, that's below, ground proximity warning system as required. Windshield anti-fog switch as required, hydraulic system set and check, pressurization we can check that when we start descending. Descent clearance, we don't need that. Alright, so we are pretty much ready to start our descent. I hate when this goes to the plan mode. Yeah, we will turn the signs on when we start and get closer to 10,000. Other than that, I don't have anything else to worry about for descent. Set the altitude at about 20 miles to 2500, or we can do it right now. There we go. 2500 is set and armed, and the aircraft should take care of the rest. It still goes to hate when this happens. Right. Hey, Falcon! Last week I had my essays and I have a good feeling. Great, man, great. My son is doing great, Falcon, thanks for asking. We are going for a post-op follow-up visit tomorrow to schedule the physical therapy, but he has been doing fine. We took off the bandages, gave him a shower. He is healing. He is still not able to stand on his feet and bear some weight, but we are doing fine. We will figure out more tomorrow when we visit our doctor. How are you doing? It's getting close, huh? To become a registered nurse. That's great, man. Yeah, I mean, first couple days were challenging, but he's much better now. Top of descent in about 20 miles, guys. Almost there. And that localizer fail message will stay there until we get closer to the airport and start picking up the signal. We are reading the DME already, 82 miles to our destination. We can monitor our instruments and try to get down and land this aircraft, hopefully without any issues. I have done a few flights in this, so landing I still need to improve myself, but we'll see how I do when we land this time. Oh yeah, you had to jump in at work. I know, I mean, you guys are awesome. I appreciate and respect all the healthcare workers. Yeah, I mean, luckily you have 2 days off. That's something. Hopefully, it will be better. You'll get there, Falcon. I'm pretty sure you will. Very nice. I'm super excited for you. My brother is a healthcare worker too, so I respect you guys a lot. He's an anesthesia technician, so I know how that goes. I have one in family. Alright, almost there. The aircraft should start descending when we get to top of descent. What is my next waypoint? It is KOSLO. KOSLO. According to my flight plan, that's my next waypoint. Actually, I passed KOSLO. The next one is the Sierra Victor 018. That's the transition to our approach for the DME arc. Right, almost at top of descent. Let's see what happens. Can't really remember, but this aircraft should start descending on its own. As you see now, we started the descent, which means VNAV is working. That's a great sign. Yes. I'm annoyed with this sound. It is what it is, I guess. Let's check the overhead real quick. QNH is set for our landing. Landing elevation is set. We'll set the final approach course of 102. Nav 1. We'll do the same for Nav 2 when we get closer. We need the Nav 2 for the DME arc. We are not using a star, Koshik. This is a direct approach with no star, but a 10.9 mile DME arc. Runway 10, ILS Yankee 1, runway 10, yes, correct. Needed to get the weather report one more time to ensure the QNH is still the same. Let's see here. 1013. Okay, let's go. Set 1013. And we are at 1013 anyway. Good. Set the standby to 1013 too. That's set. What about the co-pilot side? Set. Okay. Any visa? What you mean, Kushik? I'm not sure I understood what your question is. "45 miles to our destination now." Oh, Daniel, welcome, man. My son is doing better. We are going for another visit tomorrow, post-op visit, but he's doing better. Thanks for asking. How about yourself? Are you doing fine? Oh, look at that view. Look at that view. Alright, we are descending nicely. We should have no problems getting down to 2500. Oh, that's great to hear, Daniel. Vias. Oh, Via is Sierra Bravo 018. That's the transition from flight plan routing to approach. And that's my next waypoint on my flight plan routing. MCDU message. Okay, we have an MCDU message. Drag required. Let's put some speed brakes in. Oh, that's too much. Hopefully that will help us with descending and slowing down. Speed brakes are a bit sensitive. Look at that. That should help us with descending. Coming up to 20,000. 3 miles. I'm a little bit nervous now because we need to slow down a lot more. So let's put more speed brakes in and descend a little bit faster. And that is looking okay now. We are maintaining the speed and descending down faster. That should give us what we need. Getting super close, but we are very close too. So we should be able to get down to 2500, and then eventually we need to descend down to 1700 when flying that DME arc. That's where we are expecting to capture the glide slope into the runway. Your ND is broken? How so? Are you flying the fly-by-wire? See the glide slope coming down. Is that the... oh, that's the VNAV path, I guess. Yep, that's the VNAV path. We are on course. We are on path. We should have no problems getting down to the altitude we need to be at. To set this to 1700 now. And select 1700. Because that's where we need to get down to. And eventually we will be there. Let's drop the range to 20 miles now. Oh, that's 10 miles, not 20. This is 20. Right, that looks okay. And the aircraft will fly the DME arc for us. We have 10 miles, roughly, to get to that DME arc and start flying the arc to reach to the final approach fix. You should think about slowing down and extending flaps while they are flying the DME arc, by the way. Oh, that's interesting, Koshik. Sorry about that, but yeah, this is an ILS Yankee approach with no star. Localizer frequency is 111.9er, approach course is 102, and the final altitude for glide slope is 1700. I hope that helps. Coming down to 10,000, we should slow down to 250. I'll keep the speed brakes extended. We'll put the passenger signs to on, and we will turn the landing lights on a little bit later. Check the pressurization system. It looks like it is doing its job. Cabin temperature is looking nice too. And there is a message there. What is it? Speed brake extended. Yeah, we know that. We want to keep it extended because we are flying the arc now. Are super close. Slowing down to 250. Well, we should slow down to 250. With speed brakes. We are doing medium brakes for landing, so let's set that up here and arm the brakes. They will not arm because we don't have flaps yet. But the aircraft started flying the arc. Overshot that a little bit, but it should correct itself. Coming down to 10,000, landing lights coming on. We are slowing down to 240. Do I have a Logan in my waypoint? Logav, yep, I have one. That's the final fix, I believe, Koshik. Alright, we are flying the arc, 10.7 miles, not too shabby. Looks like the aircraft is doing a good job with following that DME arc. We need to get down a little bit faster though, down to 1700. That's my concern right now. We are at 240. Let me check one thing. Do we have a flaps placard that tells me when I can extend the flaps? Okay, let's see here. There's something down below here. Gear down 300, slat extend. Okay, we can extend the slats and then eventually the flaps. So what I'm gonna do is to help the aircraft slow down and keep the speed, I'm gonna extend the slats because we need to get down.
Slats extended.
Are you not descending, aircraft? VNAV level. Please go down. You should be descending now. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we'll go vertical speed. We'll go vertical speed 2500 feet per minute. Should give us what we need. We don't have any restrictions, so I'm not sure why the aircraft did not descend. But we will keep descending and watch over the speed to make sure we are not over speeding. We need to get down to 1700. That's the arc. It's looking weird here, but that is runway 10, so we are halfway through the arc. We have a little bit more to go and coming down. It's gonna be a little bit interesting to set the flaps. Oh yeah, Falcon, I will try. Don't have too much experience with this aircraft, but we will see. we already started seeing some issues, but hopefully we will get down to 1700 before we reach the end of the arc. Looks like we will. And we need to slow down too. Alright, I think now I can tune the localizer. 1.1 Final approach course is 102. That's also set on the co-pilot side. Alright, we are ready to switch to approach mode, but I'm gonna wait until we clear that DME arc. And that beeping you are hearing is the trim. It's a little bit annoying in this aircraft, but that's the trim wheel trying to trim the aircraft for pitch. Coming down, we will set our heading back to our final approach course 2. That's 102. Yep, I know, Falcon, it gets very annoying sometimes. I hope the developer fixes that too. It shouldn't happen like this, but it constantly tries to trim. Yeah, looks like we are down to the altitude we need to be at, or we will be. No problem. We'll go flaps. Co-pilot side, I'm gonna put the auxiliary hydraulics to on as a secondary measure. And we are almost there, guys. We are almost there.
2500.
Okay, now we will arm the localizer. Localizer is now armed. ILS is also armed. That is going to get us where we need to be at. Did we leveled off? Yeah, almost. Okay, everything is looking promising now. We are almost there. And the aircraft should slow down. We'll bring the speed brakes in now. And arm the speed brakes. That's now done. We haven't armed all the brakes yet. We will. Why are you not arming? Still trying to remember what will go. Another level of flaps. That should help us slow down. We are very close. Up the speed to what was our reference speed? Let me see the performance calculation. Oh, we are super close to the ground. 134. Okay, we will slow down to 134. Keep extending the flaps. That's the runway in front of us. Just
Flaps 15.
that's the distance. 1.2. Landing gear is now coming down.
Gear down. 3 green.
Gear is down. We are on localizer track. We should capture the ILS though. Why we haven't, I'm not sure.
Flaps 28.
Oh, just a little bit more. At Diebold, next waypoint, we should capture the ILS right here.
Stabilizer motion.
Flaps 40.
Sport is selected, that's the outer marker. Speed brake, auto brakes are armed, and we are ready to land. Alright, we should capture the glide slope now. Not sure why the aircraft is trying to climb here. It shouldn't.
Stabilizer motion.
Okay, I will take the autopilot off and try to descend the aircraft into the runway myself. Alright, that's the puppies. these kind of things happen when I'm trying to do things, but well, we'll manage that. Alright, puppies are looking good now. 2 white, 2 red. I see. It's hard to see at this point like that, so we will keep the puppies in 2 red, 2 right, 2 white, and at least I will try to keep them like that.
1,000.
I didn't expect this to happen, so it didn't capture the glide slope for some reason. I cannot control the trim. We're high, so we should go down a little bit more. It's super bouncy, even if we have calm winds, I'm not sure why. Just watching the puppies, 1 red. Should get back on profile shortly. Red. I'm not sure Microsoft Flight Simulator's puppy lights are really accurate. They're still a little bit high, but we should get...
400.
These trees are a little bit scary. That's why I'm trying to avoid the trees.
300.
But also try to stay on profile by watching the puppies. We are still high. Inner marker.
Minimums.
Minimums. Continue. We are landing, that's for sure.
Light slope.
Okay.
Light slope. Light slope. 100. 40. 30. 20. 10.
40. Courses
2
are
in reverse.
engaged. The brakes are doing their job. We should have no problem stopping. Landing rate 93 feet per
60 knots.
minute. That was not too bad, despite the fact that we lost the
Reverse lights out.
we lost the glide slope or the autopilot. Yep, not centered. I know. Alright, we should get going now and vacate the runway. Yeah, it's gonna yell at us. I know what it's doing. But we will vacate the runway. We don't need the transponder at TA array. We'll put it to TA for now. Nose light on for taxi. And we will turn the strobe off when we vacate the runway. Where is the terminal? On our right side, I guess. I don't know where the terminal building is. Yep, we'll take this right. Vacate the runway. And we'll do the rest of the stuff. Right. Back to position lights only. Strobes are off. Landing lights are now coming off. And we are just going. I think I have to follow this line, I guess. Or do we have a way to make a right turn? Directors can come off now, we don't need it. Super hard to make the turn. Come on. You can do this. There we go. Requires a little bit of power and taxi to make the turns, but now we are en route to the terminal building. Yeah, centering, I tried Falcon. It's just, I guess the losing the glide slope made me nervous, or not capturing it at all. I could have centered a bit more, but as I said, I have less experience with this aircraft, so I'm trying to remember everything. But I think that's all right. We are at least safe. All right, we can start the APU now because we are going to need it. APU is now starting and we are on the taxiway. to worry about that. Master caution. We can slow down a little bit. And where we should park? Maybe next to those aircraft in front of us. Somewhere that looks like a ramp or terminal building. I'll probably go and take the next left to the gates. APU is now starting. Transponder can go to standby. We already closed or turned off the weather radar. Let's slow down a little bit. There, we're parked next to one of those aircraft. Some of them doesn't make sense. Deliveries, they can't be here with those aircraft, but it is what it is. Microsoft Flight Simulators shortcomings, I guess. Slow down, we can't make that turn into the parking. Take this left turn. And ourselves a parking spot. Maybe next to those guys over there. On our left. I'm not sure if we will see the marshaller sim assigns to us when you land. I didn't have too much luck with that, so I'll probably go towards the end and park somewhere there if there is a gate. I'm still unsure. That's one of the things I'm still not happy about, not having taxi routing properly. I think I'm gonna take this gate. Almost made the turn. Just give me a little bit more power. This is better. Let's see here. This is the challenging part for me. Parking and stopping at the right distance to the gate. Alright, we will stop here, set the parking brake. Parking brake is set. We should have APU available. Put the APU on the bus. Put the APU air to on. Oops, where are you go? Didn't I set the parking brake? I see that problem again. Man. Not able to set my parking brakes. The aircraft keeps rolling. Oh, that's interesting. Well, must be a bug. I will keep the brakes and hold the brakes. We will shut down the engines shortly. I see the brake pressure, but parking brake is not engaging. You are seeing this, right? That's very interesting. Alright, anyway, so be it. What we do? Yeah, we shut down our engines. Right engine, left engine, and we don't need the anti-collision light anymore. We should switch to APU power. And what we can do, look at that, like half of that gate is missing too. Interesting. We'll stop here. I'll hold the brakes, and when we have the doors open we should have the chokes. Okay, now the door is open, we can start onboarding the aircraft. Do we have the chokes in place? We do. Parking brake working? No. What's wrong with you? Well, anyway, I'm not gonna worry about that, guys. Welcome to our destination. Thanks for being here, guys. I will deboard the plane, but you don't have to sit and watch for that happening. I appreciate all of you.